night, Luke shot this beautiful buck that we've got hanging up here today. The hides for the next few days are going to be too warm to hang it, so in order to age it, we're going to do a process called wet aging, where in which we take the bigger chunks of the meat and we put it in coolers on ice until we're ready to butcher it, you know, probably 4 or 5 days from now. So to start with, we're going to go ahead and cape it because he's going to get this mounted. So I'm first going to show you how to cape a deer for mounting. So basically we're taking off this guy's shirt, his long sleeve shirt. So we're going to go from here down. We're not going to split him up the front, we're not going to split him down the back, we're just going to peel it off. First thing we do is take off these front legs at the knuckle. And you can use a saw for this, but if you do it right, you can usually just get around the joint. Now we're just gonna cut around here and go as far back as you can. The more you give your taxidermist to work with, the better. No taxidermist is ever gonna complain about having too much cape. They will complain about too little. Pretty darn slick there, Luke.
What?
Pretty slick.
Yeah.
That worked great. If you've never skinned a deer before, you'll find you get this sort of membrane and just some careful knife work and that peels right off. Honestly, it's a lot easier to do this when the deer's warm. This one's been hanging overnight, so that's gonna make some more challenges, but you have to be ultra careful though, not to slice through this. If you do, it's okay. Most taxidermists can fix it, but you want to avoid that as much as you can.
Like taking a hoodie off.
This is where you gotta be super careful because I'm trying to get through this little bit of muscle, but I gotta be careful not to get through the hide. So you can see I'm just skirting. And that is something that just kind of comes with experience. Slow and steady wins the race with this. Sure, there's guys who do this all day at meat plants and can do this in 5 minutes, but that's not us, and so we'll just go slow and preserve the trophy. This guy asked him how to do it, and he told me very specifically, don't cut anything. He doesn't want anything cut brought to him. So it's slower, but
yeah,
that's what the taxidermist wants.
And then it goes on like a glove. Let me jump on your shoulders.
Woo! Okay, now I just got skin down the neck. Thickest skin on these things is their neck.
Trash bag.
I brought my contractor bag.
About that big. Go.
All right, that's how it's done. That's ready to go to the taxidermist. Just the head with his long sleeves hoodie. So now we got the front skinned off, we'll get the rest. So we'll start back here. Now one thing when you hang these deer like this, there's this tendon here. You gotta be real careful not to snip that because that's the only thing holding this leg together and it'll fall and then you really have a pain in the butt to deal with. So I usually start like this, work my way up there. This would be a good application for like gut hook too. saw a lot of cows. A lot of does, a couple little bucks,
Well,
that
if you
nice
guys
buck.
Look at that fat on this boy.
All right, if you've got a newborn, wrap them in this. Warm all winter. Just ask our ancestors. Start breaking him down. First thing is these shoulders. These come off way easier than you would think. You just start slicing in here. This is a side loop shot it.
It is a shoulder. Look at that. I want to see where it went through. Did it hit his bone? It did.
Bam.
Broke right through the bone.
Oh yeah, right through the shoulder blade. It's right there. Is where this is the inside of the shoulder blade. That's right where that broadhead came through. There. That's where it hit. Came through the shoulder blade, and from there went into the rib cage and killed the deer. You would have been to rage yourself. Beautiful. The next thing, we'll take these back straps. So we come in about here at the hips, and the right spine's right here. Just get right on the inside of that, and shove that knife in there, and just kind of come right along that spine. And you feel yourself riding on the top of the ribs. Just come as far forward as you can. Just kind of. Then back here, like that. Just kind of work along the top of the ribs. You get thinner as you get up further. And then it's kind of like very satisfying, very ASMR. Okay, and then if you're real careful, you can kind of separate this fat cap. That's mostly no good. And there is the ever coveted backstrap. Beautiful piece of meat there. That's a big old backstrap. You just kind of. Next, a lot of this neck meat gets kind of overlooked, and it's very tricky to get off because the bones here are just so weirdly shaped. But so it's kind of, it's not as ASMR as the backstraps.
Now, is this good for grinding?
Yeah, you can grind it. You can slow cook it. Some people leave the bone in. You know, on littler deer, you don't get near as much, but on a big old rut and buck like this, like how could you not? How can you turn away from all this meat?
Well, when you grind meat, Noah, do you put it in with pork fat?
You can. I honestly, anymore I just go straight and then add to it whatever I'm making out of it. So honestly, like if you wanna, the trick I learned at elk camp, if you wanna make like burgers, just do straight 100% meat, add some either ranch dressing or barbecue sauce, and that holds the patty together and adds flavor. Super good. If you're doing like any type, like spaghetti or whatever, just add extra olive oil to add the extra fat in there when you brown it up. And I think you end up with better flavor without adding too much fat, but that's just me personally. Look at all that meat there. This is a trick, you have to cut that out, but you know, a lot of people leave that behind, and that's a shame. Because it's like 10 pounds of meat right there.
That's the hard shoulder. We're gonna try them. Because he's like, okay.
So for these hind legs, We take him down because we're gonna take the legs off and that's what he's hanging from. So first we'll get rid of this unneeded leg. Now be careful. This is their tarsal gland. They kind of piss on there and secrete scent from there. If you do not want to run your knife through that and then run it through your meat, it will taint your meat. So you've got to be careful when you're cutting around that. So we're just gonna carefully take that off and then we're gonna go ahead and cut this off because we don't need it. So with these, kind of like the shoulders, you don't need a saw. You just have to cut in the right places. You'll feel the bones as you go. See that ball joint? That's all we need to separate. That's the only thing holding us on here other than the muscles. Get that separate. Just kind of cut around. Bam! It's like caveman meal right there. Okay, ooh, baby. So that's the basic of breaking down a deer. And then we'll also take on the carcass and just pick at it, get as much little scraps off as we can. But these are the big chunks. Front legs, back straps, neck, and then the hind legs. There's also the inner loins, which are typically taken out immediately because they'll dry out, so that's why they're not here right now. So now what we'll do is put these in unscented garbage bags. Contractor bags are best, like what you use for yard waste, you get at the hardware store or whatever. And we'll put those in coolers in ice. And then that way we can keep it cool for a few days and let the rigor mortis process continue to work through the muscle to soften it up and make it more tender.
Hey guys, I hope this is helpful for you. Noah, thank you for cleaning my deer.
Hey, my pleasure.
Check out our site for some more merch and like and subscribe. See you next time.